Okay. Okay, now construct a stem and leaf plot. Okay, so you can use your Excel, you can use your freehand to plot your stem and leaf plot. But if you are using Excel as well, you are actually plotting based on using Excel, but you are doing on your own actually. Look at few samples that we have. Okay, now this is your sample. Okay, the speed kilometer per hour. Okay, for this particular student, this student does not order the data. The same goes to this one. He order the data so that it will be easy for him or her to analyze the data. So it can be clearly seen that the minimum value is what, the maximum value is what. Okay, so for some of you, it is a good idea to order them first so that it would be easy for you to analyze. Okay, so we have a variety of approach on how to solve equations. Now, the first question is um, construct a stem and leaf plot. Okay, we know for stem and leaf plot. Okay, so for this student, I think he forgot to do the stem and leaf plot. Okay. Okay, what about student number 2? Now, okay. Now, for student number 2, can you hear me, class? I forgot to ask. Can you hear me,
Yes,
class?
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I wish for this class, whenever I ask you, straight away answer, because your friend just now, I almost leave the online class because when I ask, I need to wait for the answer. Wait and wait. I don't really like that particular what we call situation of online class. Okay. So for this stem and leaf plot, we know that for stem and leaf, we will have what we um, call is the stem, okay, and we have the leaf. And the leaf is the what we call if we have, for example, 100, so this belongs to the leaf, and the 10 will belong to the stem. So that's why if we have 80, 0 belongs to the leaf, 8 will belongs to the stem. So that's how we divide them into. So what happened is that from our data, we know that it will be divided into 80s, 90s, hundreds, that will be 10, and then you have 11, and then you have 12. Okay, you have 12, you have 10, 11, sorry, you have 10, you have 90, and then you have 80. So that's why you have this. Okay, so the first value is 84, so you have 8 and 4, then you have 85, 8 and 5. So all these are correct. But what happened is that I believe the column should be resize the column so that it would be equally scattered from one column to another column. Okay, so for this one is correct. So for the second one, for the third sample, okay, almost the same. Fourth sample, okay, you do the table. So if you have table, actually you can resize the table. Okay, so resize the column so that they will be equally sized. Okay, equal size so that it will look nicer as what we have in sample 2 and 3 just now. So almost the same. You have the stem and the leaf, so it should be actually everything should be here and everything should be left and right justified so that it will be nicer. Okay, sample 5, we look until sample 5 only. Okay, so for sample 5 also the same. Now, that would be equation number 1. Construct. No problem for constructing stem and leaf plot. Now, second question. Using the plot. Now, this is what most students forget to focus. When the question asks you to use the plot, then you will have to use the plot. Okay, so yes, I know I have given you the option. You can use your Excel to help you out with all the calculations. But since the question asks using the plot, so it should refer to the plot. Okay, so for example, this stem and leaf plot I didn't see just now. So in this case, what happened is that your stem and leaf plot is not nicely done. Okay, not nicely done because this should be justified to the right, and this, the whole value here should be justified to the left, so that it will be nicer as what we have seen before. Okay, so when we have what we call based on the plot, so let us find one good plot. One good plot, stem and leaf plot. Okay, now for example, this one. The question asks you, using the plot, calculate and interpret the mean, median, and mode. Okay, using the plot means that you have to calculate. Okay, so you have to calculate what is the mean, what is the median, okay, what is the mode. Okay, so for the calculation wise, that will be the mean. So let's depend on the Excel. But for the median, okay, how many sample size do we have, class, in this data? So what is your N here, class? This is your median.
30.
What is your what? What was that? What is your N?
30.
80 or 30? 30, right? 30. So if you are talking about median, it should be located in the 50th data set, right? Okay, so it's either 50th or the mean arithmetic of the, if we have, this is even. So if even, the midpoint is 15, so it will be between 15 and 16, right? Divide by 2. Am I correct, class? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what will be my 15th and 16th data? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Should I start 5 here or 5 here? Should I start A or should I start B? Class, for the 5th value. A or B, sorry. A
B.
or B?
B.
Why? Why? Because if I choose A, it is 99, which is not according to the order of my data. So that's why we have the 5th here. 5th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we have the 50th is 100, and the 16th is also 100. So 100 plus 100 divided by 2 is 100, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Right.
Betul, betul.
Okay. Okay. Now, what about the median? The mode. So from your plot, scatter plot, we can clearly see what will be the most frequent leaf value appear in your data. So if you can see, you have 3, 2, you have 9, 4, right? So your median
You're
is
talking about the mode or the
99 kilometer per hour, 100 kilometer per hour. So in this case, you have to add 84 plus 85 plus until the last value is 122. Divide
Madam,
by
this is the main or
20.
the mode?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Yes.
Madam, this is the mean or the
Are you-
mode?
This is the mode. The mode is 99 because it appears the most frequent 4 times, right? compared to the rest of the data. Here 110 only 2, 100 only 2. Right, 93 only 2, but 99 is your mode. Okay. Right? So now look at the questions. Look at the question. What was the question asking? The question asked, using the plot, calculate and interpret. This is what most students didn't do. Okay, interpret. Okay, so how do we interpret? What sample just now? Okay, so how do we interpret? Okay, okay, for this student, very good. The mean of car speed is 102.1 km per hour, correct? The median, 100. So how do you interpret? Missing interpretation. Okay, so how do you interpret? What the median car speed of 30 cars is what? 99, 100 is 100 kilometer per hour. Okay, now the median. So what about the mode? So if you are showing this, okay, so the student gives the answer here. The middle value of the car speed also, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Okay, so you have your interpretation also accepted. The most common value for car speed is 99. Okay, you can also use the most frequent car speed is 99 km per hour, or you can say they are the frequent, or you can say for. Okay lah, never mind, just use this easier. Now, next question. Okay, done question 1 Roman, 2 Roman. Third, what can you say about the distribution of the car speed? Explain your answer. Now, class, if you have these particular questions, now, the way you answer the third question is either you use your answer in 2 Roman or you use your answer in your first Roman. Okay? So you are not going to say about the box plot, about the whiskers, about anything that is not being done. So for the third question, you need to go and look to your previous answer. How can we say? And how can we answer this? Let us look at your sample. Friends answer. Do they have the correct answer for the third question? For this one, he did not specify. He did not specify. What was the answer question just now? Calculate. No, the distribution. Okay, I don't think he comment on the distribution. So if this is the way you submitting your work, okay, most probably you have already missed out half of your mark here because you don't even dare to put which one is the first Roman, 1 Roman, 2 Roman, so on and so forth. Okay. Sample number 2, also the same. Is it the same? For number 2, question 2, what can you say using the plot of question 13? Using the plot, okay, done. What can you say about the distribution? Okay, so if you look at your friend's answer, question number 3, it is positively skewed because the mean, median, and mode, the condition is this. Okay, because what? We know the mean, the x bar, the x curly, and the mode. So you have 99, that would be your x, that would be mode. And then you have your median, that would be 100. And then you have your mean, that would be 102. 0.1. So if you look at this particular condition, okay, if you have this, okay, we know that this is the condition of where we have this particular distribution. So by using this particular condition, we answer positively skewed, full mark. Good. Okay, because he understand on how to interpret. What about the third sample? Okay, for the third sample, okay, right skewed because, okay, acceptable. Mode is smaller than the median and the median is smaller than the mean. Okay, good. Sample number 4. Okay, the distribution is positively skewed, but no reason. Okay, half mark will be given. Okay, so you don't have the reason. So please make sure you answer based on the question given. The same goes to, okay, this particular sample, the distribution. Okay, this is a good example. Let me enlarge. How do I enlarge this? Okay. I couldn't see any possibility to enlarge this. Okay, let me see. It is impossible for me to enlarge. It's okay, disregard this. Okay. What about the next sample? Question number 3. Most of the data value are connected to the left side of the tail. So now, right, this is correct, but the way you answer, the reasoning that you use is the one that is not being answered before. So most probably you will get half mark for that. Okay. Now, next question. Calculate the range, variance, and standard deviation using Microsoft Excel for calculation. So from based on my observation, everyone did this correctly. So you will have your mean, median, mode, and the one that we are looking for just now is the standard deviation. Standard deviation, variance, and range. Okay, so you have your value for each of the things that you need to find. Okay, so that's it. So sample number 2, also using, I think using this from this particular descriptive statistic, you take the output and put into your what we call answer. Okay, sample number 3. Okay, so I believe the student using the function of standard deviation, variance, and range. Okay, not using the descriptive statistic. Okay, the same with this one. Okay, number 5, 6. Okay, now number 6. Interestingly, this student use the formula. Means that in the Excel, the student used calculate it on his own, not using the function. Also can, but it's actually wasting time actually. Okay. Now next question. Using the plot, calculate the first and third quartile. Interpret the values. First and third quartile. Calculate the first and third quartile. What does that first and third quartile means? That is question number 5. So this student did not show anything, but okay. First and third quartile. So this is your first and third quartile. So he is using the function from the Excel. But the question asks you using the plot, right? So maybe no mark is given, maybe half mark is given, depending on the schema. Okay. First quartile, second quartile. I believe this also is obtained from your what we call Excel. If you are using plot, it will be different answer. I think almost everyone, this one is the one that I'm looking for. Okay, question 5. Question 5. This one using Excel. Sample 6. I think also using Excel. So I think using Excel. So let us focus on the sample 3. Okay. How does this student use the plot? Okay. What does Q1 means? We know that your N is 30. So means that if in terms of ranking your data, you have the first, you have the 15th, 16th, okay, and then you have 30th. Right. You have 30 data. Okay. When I say median of quartile 1 means that you divide your data into 2. Okay, you divide your data into the first 50%, lower 50%, and then the second is upper 50%. Okay, we know that the median just now, Q2 is what just now? The median is 100. Okay, now what is the median for the half of your data from your plot? So means that you have to refer to this particular plot. Okay. So when will be your from your 50%? What is the middle? The 50th of this particular 50%. So it will be between what? So this will be the which data, which observation class?
25th% out of 15.
I know. Out of 15, that will be fall exactly on a data set or between two data sets?
Between.
Are you sure? Half of your 50%, your N will be 15. And second N will be 15 as well. So what will be the middle for 15?
7 or 8?
Is it
8, madam.
8. It will be your 8 data. The same goes here. If you calculate from this, it will be, so it will be 8, 15. Okay. So it will be, so from here, it will be the 8 as well. Simple to calculate. Okay. So if you look at your data, it should be the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So your Q1 is 94. Okay. And for the other half of your data will be the 8 from the largest one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is your Q3 of your data. So what is Q3 here? Q3 equal to 110. If referring to the block. So we know then Q3 is 110. The 8 is 94. Exactly falls on the data. Okay. So what does this 94 means? What does this 110 means? I want someone to interpret because you need to interpret. Using the plot calculate and interpret the value. How would you interpret the value? Can someone try? What this 94 means for this lower 50%? Class?
First quarter.
The
It is the median, madam.
I know. Yeah, I know. The median for what? The median for what? Specify specifically.
The median for the first
Yes, the median
half.
for the lower 50% of the data is 94 kilometer per hour. Means that those who drive from minimum is 84 until 100, the median between 84 to 100 kilometer per hour is actually 94 kilometer per hour. The same goes to 110. The median for the upper 50% of the data is 110 kilometer per hour. Or you can say the median for car speed from 100 until 122 is 110. Okay, so that's how you can interpret your data. Done with question number 5. Okay, number 6, calculate and interpret the interquartile range. Okay, calculate and interpret the interquartile range. How do we calculate? Okay, let us look at the sample just now. I would like to focus on the sample that is correctly being done. Okay, now we know that. Okay, let me choose the different pen now. Okay, now for the interquartile range, we know that it will be the range of the middle 50%. So it will be IQR is 16. What does this 16 means? Now, for the answer, yes, you get mark. Okay, you get mark for the answer. But what will be your interpretation? Because this is the one that we have been looking for this particular question. What does the IQR means? Look at the name. You have the interquartile range. How can we find the interquartile range? Deduct the quartile, third quartile with the first quartile, and you will get the value that is 16. What does this 16 mean? If I were to draw from here, so this is your Q1, this is your Q3, and this is your Q2. Now you are deducting this particular value with this particular value. Now range help you out with this. How can you use the information of the range of the interquartile to make the interpretation? We are talking about middle 50% of our data. Okay, so means that class, how can we say this? Okay, the range of the middle 50% of the car speed is 16. Yes, this is correct. I forgot to see this particular answer. So this student is very good. Okay, he can understand what does the interquartile range means to him in terms of the car speed. So we are talking about the middle 50% of our data, and we are deducting the maximum value with the minimum value. Means that the range for the middle 50% of our data, the range of car speed is 16. Okay, that's it. Any question here? I don't think you have any question, right? Okay, question number 6. Construct a box plot using 5-number summary. So I think for this one, everyone did well. Okay, everyone can plot their stem and leaf plot. Okay, and in fact, okay, but somehow So this one, I think you miss out your Q2. Okay, your Q2 in this case is 100. So it should be somewhere here. Okay, so it should be, you should have the line here. Okay, sample number 3, okay. Sample number 4, okay. Sample number 5, also okay. Sample number 6. Spot. Okay. Spot is somewhere here. Okay. So I think everyone did well for this particular question. So every box plot should consider the 5 number summary. That will be the minimum, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and then the maximum value. Now, last question. Check whether there is an outlier or not. Comment the squareness of the data. Okay, so outlier. Let's look for sample. Did he discuss about the outlier? So he talked about upper bound and lower bound. Okay, but does not include any information related to the upper bound and lower bound. Class, how many types of outlier do we have? Type of outlier. First is what? Second is what? Class. First is mild outlier. Second is what? Class. Second is what? Why everyone is leaving my online class? Stop sharing. I need to check how many of you are inside. 68. 19. Almost 20 students are not here. Okay. If things necessary for me to be stringent about their attendance, those who are not joining my class more than 1 hour, I will consider as absent. Okay, so please do not make me to do such decision. Okay. Let us continue.
Extreme outlier, madam.
What was that?
Extreme, if I'm not mistaken. Extreme outlier.
Yes, extreme outlier. Okay, how do we get mild outlier? By adding or subtracting the lower, the minimum or maximum value with 1.5 IQR. For extreme outlier, it will be plus minus 3 IQR. Okay, so if you look at this particular calculation, I don't have any clue this upper bound and lower bound is referring to. Is it for the mild outlier or extreme outlier? Okay, so we know that the minimum value is 84, the maximum value is 122. Okay, when we have 1.5 means that we will use, for example, in this case, we will use the minimum value plus, minus 1.5 IQR. And the maximum value minus plus 1.5 IQR. Okay, so in this case, I believe you will get 71. So this is talking about mild outlier. And your upper bound is 133. Okay, so means that your fence, okay, for your fence for mild outlier would be 133. Somewhere here. This is what we call outer.
Sorry, madam, can you repeat?
What was that?
Can you repeat, madam, please?
Repeat. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
IQR, how much? How
Okay,
much is
no.
our IQR?
IQR is just now is 15.5.
Right?
IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Okay, I hope the student got correct for
It's
IQR.
16, right?
What was that?
Is it 16 or 15.5?
Hold on, let me check the other sample. Okay, Q1 is 94.25, but this one is based on the, let me use the one that using the plot just now.
Using the plot, it's 16.
Okay. If you are using the plot, it will be 16. Okay, so let's say we use 16. Okay, let's say we use 16.
16, so
IQ,
minus 24. So it would be
yes,
60, right?
IQR is, hold on, where did I do the, well, just now is 110 minus 94. 110 minus 94, you get 16. That would be your IQR.
So
Okay,
1.5,
IQR is 100.
1.5 is
Okay.
24, right?
That is, okay, this one is, sorry. This one is what we call customized value for mile outlier. This one is obtained by the statistician. Why 1.5? Because there is some reason why 1.5 is what we call is chosen. And for your extreme outlier, it is twice as from your mile outlier, which is 3 IQR. So in this case, if you use your, can someone calculate, because I didn't have my calculator here. So your minimum value, if you use your, what we call, this will be 84 minus 1.5 times 16. What is the value here? This will be,
60
what was that?
Anam,
It will be 60.
60. Okay. What
80
about
show
122
84
minus?
it will
Okay,
be
plus
46, 146.
146. So means that your outer fence is 146 and your inner, what we call that, outer, lower fence, sorry. This is upper fence, This is upper fence. Okay, so this is upper fence. This is your lower fence is 60. So means that it is somewhere over here. So this is your lower fence. Means that if let's say somewhere in your data, okay, somewhere in your data, you have your minimum value is 84. So 84 is here. It is not outside. So if your data falls in here, or your data falls in here, okay, this is what we call mild outlier. This is mild outlier. Okay, so if you double, then you will have even larger value for outer upper fence. This is outer upper fence. And this one, let's say I put a blue color. So you will have somewhere here is what we call lower outer fence. Means that if there are data lies here or data lies here, this is what we call extreme outlier. The same here, extreme outlier. Okay, so that's how we deal with outlier. So what was the question just now? By using construct box plot by using 5 numbers summary, check whether there is an outlier or not, and comment the skewness of data. Okay, comment on the skewness of data. So I think everyone, this student does not comment on the outlier. Okay, second sample. Second sample. Since there is no data below 47.7, so this is extreme outlier. There is no extreme outlier. Or you can say outlier also can. Okay. And since the data is positively skewed, the right, because why? The right tail of the data of the distribution is longer to the left. Is it correct? To the left? The whiskers are almost the same, right? But the box that will determine whether it is skewed to the right or to the left. So since this box is larger than this box, and confirmed by your box what we call stem and leaf plot just now, it seems that it is right skewed. So it is right skewed, positively skewed. Okay, correct. Right tail of the distribution. Okay, he is mentioning about the right tail, which means you are talking about the right tail, this thing. Okay, I thought the whiskers just now. Okay, sample 3. No outlier because values are within. Okay, correct. The data is skewed to the right. Is the question asked for any reason? Comment. So you need to comment. So what will be your commenting based from? So it's either you use the whiskers, but since the whiskers is almost the same, so whiskers is not suitable. You can use the middle 50% of data. Means that the box is larger to the right, so it is right skewed. Okay, or you can use your stem and leaf plot to comment, since it is longer tail to the positive direction, so it is right skewed. So comment must be included, otherwise mark will be deducted. Okay, no outliers, skewed to the right. Okay, this one is acceptable. Okay, sample 5. I couldn't read, sorry. Just pick up this. The upper boundary, okay. From this upper boundary and lower boundary value, we can see is the data. No outlier, okay. Okay, and then skewness, positive skew because tail on the positive side. Okay. So this is how you should answer your question whenever you are given statistic question. If you are being ordered to calculate, then calculate. If you are required to calculate and interpret, then your answer should follow with your interpretation. Okay? Now, let us move to any question before we move to the project planning class.
Yes,
Any
madam.
question
No,
before we
doctor.
move?
No,
Madam,
No, okay.
hello?
Yes, yes.
I'm confused
Yes.
about the outlier. Is it 133 or less? Is it 71 or 60?
For which question just now? Question which?
For the outlier.
Or line? Is it question, the last question? Question 8?
It's,
Is it this question? Can
yeah,
you see?
yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
So what about this question just now?
The first part. So, the outlier, is it 71 or 60?
No,
A
no
lot of students
outlier.
get it
The
71.
correct answer is no outlier. No outlier because no data is, because if let's say we look at the one that I did just now, this one. No data is in, because all the data is from 84 and the largest is 122 only. So no data is for, no data falls after your lower fence. Where is my lower fence just now? This one, lower fence. This is for lower fence. This is for lower outer fence. Means that's lower than your lower fence. This is lower fence. This is lower outer fence. This is for mild outlier. This is for extreme. The same goes here. So you stop at 142. If any data is bigger than 146, for this part is what we call mild outlier. And for this part is extreme outlier. But since our data, the smallest is 84, the largest is 122, does not fall between this range. So we conclude no outlier. Okay? Okay? I think the answer is
I think the mild outlier, is it Q1 minus 1.5 IQR, or is it minimum minus 1.5?
Okay. This one, okay, this one is your maximum plus 1.5 IQ. This one, lower outer fence, is your maximum plus 3 times IQ. This one is minimum minus 1.5 IQ. This one is minimum minus 3 times IQ. Okay?
In the book it says Q1 minus. In the book it says Q1 minus 1.5.
Yes. In the book, it says quartile 1 minus with 1.5 IQR.
One minus, the book says lower fence is, oh sorry, Q1. Okay, sorry, Q1. Sorry. It's yeah. I'm really sorry. Thank you for correcting me. This is actually, why don't you just say it? Why don't you choose? My goodness. Okay.
It's fasting.
Okay, any more? Okay. So then it will be Q1, sorry. And then this is Q2. Sorry, Q3. Okay. So this one will be Q1 minus. So Q1 minus. And this one will be Q1, sorry, Q3 plus. And then this Q3 plus 3 IQR. Okay, thank you very much for correcting me. Means that because we are talking about the middle 50%, okay, this is your Q2, this is your Q1, this is your Q3. So taking into account the range of your middle 50%, you will going to calculate your fence. Okay, so if you correct this, okay, so this will be your Q1 will be 94, right? 94 minus, and then your Q3 will be 110 plus 1.5. So can you get me the answer just now?
Still no outlier. It will be 70 and
Okay,
134.
70, 134.
No
Okay.
outliers also.
Q1. Okay, still no outlier because the minimum value is 84 and the maximum value is 122. It's within the region of uh, no outlier. Okay, thank you very much for correcting me. Okay, can we proceed with the
Thank you,
project?
madam.
Okay, thank you. Now, for the discussion of project, okay, I really need you to listen carefully because I cannot do one by one comment on the project planning, but I choose few samples that I believe I can highlight all the information and the reminder that you should remember in order for you to complete your project one. Okay. Open to my slide here. Okay. Project two. Too big. Okay. Now look at this project. Okay. The student got a data on the consumption of oil and gas for 2011 until 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the data. Okay. The data is for domestic consumption of oil and gas. Domestic consumption of oil and gas. Domestic consumption of oil and gas. Okay, this one. The first thing that I would like to discuss, choose this data. Okay, so okay, the data contains this particular variable. Okay, premium RON 97 until the gas, bitumen and everything. Okay, and you have data ordered by year from 2007 until 2019. And bear in mind, all the data are given in terms of 1000 meter cube. Okay, means that if you are talking about 213.2, the real data is 230,200 meter cube of oil for petroleum RON 97. So please be alert of all the information provided in your data set. Okay, some data set may have the source, some may not have this actually. But as I mentioned, the data given to you is coming from three. Okay, data source. First is Department of Statistics, Malaysia. Okay, number two, Department of Statistics, Singapore. Okay, number three, Department of Statistics, Brunei. Okay, so if you look back to your data set, okay, to this data set just now, okay, domestic consumption of oil and gas, Ministry of Energy. So what would I do? I will just copy this Ministry of Energy. I will copy the name, domestic consumption of oil and gas. Okay, let's say Ministry of Energy. Control C. Control V. Ministry of Energy. Okay, so you will have different what we call sources to look in. Okay, but in this case, the way I search for the keyword is not helping me. because I have all the American, including Malaysia, Indonesia, and everything. So what will I do will be, okay, I will Google search based on the keyword that is because if you look back to the source that I mentioned just now, it's either from these three. Okay, if you look at the oil consumption, it looked like that this is not Malaysian perspective. This because in Malaysia we don't have this particular. I'm not sure, but bitumen I rarely heard from Malaysia. So I guess this could be related to Brunei. Okay, so Brunei, so you can search for Brunei for this kind of data set. And if you can search specifically using Department of Statistics, okay, Brunei, and then you type domestic consumption, blah, blah, blah. I believe it will guide you to the source that you are looking for. Okay. Now, why I am telling you this now? Let us look at the first project that relate to this data set. Okay. The project title is Petroleum Consumption by Brunei Citizen from 2015 until 2019. If you look back to the data include from 2007 until 2019. Okay, but in the title, it only include 15 until 19. Now, if this is the case, what happened is that, okay, your project title shows that here all the analysis, okay, are based on data for 2015 until 2019. But is this the case? Is this the case? Let us see at the objective, sorry. Okay. If you go back to the objective, the first objective is to investigate the consumption of shell fuel of citizens of Brunei. Second, to review oil and gas usage on non-automotive and automotive transport. To justify the increase of premium RON 97 consumption. Okay, and then the last one is to analyze total gas domestic. Means that all these will refer to this particular year only. Okay, luckily the objective does not contradict with the year selected for the objective. Then okay, now go back to the petroleum. The data gives you data on petroleum and gas. The title focus on petroleum only. Now look at your objective. Do you have gas inside your objective? It shows that you are talking about gas as well. So it is contradict to your what we call title, because you say you only focus on the petroleum. So if that's the case, you need to verify your title again. Your title should describe overall of your project. If you specify to certain years, then everything should be specified on certain years. But what happens is that you can eliminate years element from your title. You can just maintain with the investigation of petroleum and gas consumption in Brunei. That would be acceptable as your title. Okay, so look again at your title. The way you decide should coherent with your project objective. Okay, do not contradict any of your objective with your title. So that would be the first about the title. Okay, any questions so far? Any question, class?
No.
Okay, no. Now, next, move to the project background. Now, class, have you heard any presentation where the presenter did not give you any background of your project in such a way that he directly go to the analysis? I believe there is no such case of no introduction on the background. So what happened for this particular team? I am happy that the team do extra search to find information that can be used in the project background. Remember, project background and data description is two different things. Okay, project background should include the description of your data, uh, what is the data is all about, where the data is from, the scenario or the problem is based on Malaysia or Brunei or Singapore. So how do we know Singapore, Brunei or Malaysia? Based on the given data. Worst case scenario, if no source, look at the given information in your data. Now, project background should give you other information about your project and your data. So it should be additional information on top of your data set that you have chosen. If you're talking about oil and gas consumption, just give one or two sentences that reflect the oil consumption in that particular country. How is it? Oil and gas consumption? Is it increasing? Is it reducing, declining, or whatsoever? So just to give the soul of your particular background. Okay. So for this particular case, he began with Brunei has been known for its vast resources of petroleum and gas. Before, he only said petroleum, but the red font is the one that I add. So if you wish to discuss about the gas in your objective, then put gas in your project background because it will be included in your what we call title. Okay, so and then Brunei Shell Petroleum is the largest oil and gas company in Brunei, which produce many types of gas. But my question is, how do you sure that the data is from Brunei Shell Petroleum? Because if you go to your data source for domestic consumption of oil and gas, no in the data mentioned about Brunei Shell company. Okay, so are you sure that in Brunei only Brunei Shell Petroleum that is available in Brunei, or will there be any other oil company other than Brunei Shell Petroleum? So if there is or there are other petroleum companies, so you have to make sure you correct this. Okay, so don't mention about Brunei Petroleum. Okay, just go straight to the domestic usage of what? Oil and gas, blah 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 blah. Okay, so good enough to give what we call illustration of the data or the project that you are doing. Okay, then we go to the data set. Okay, crucial issue that can be observed in petroleum consumption by the citizen of Brunei over 13 years. So this is kind of a hanging sentence, so you need to replace this sentence. Okay, what is the thing or what are the things that you wish to investigate that you need to put inside here as your simplified words of your project? So you can put it here. So you can use 13 years or you can use 2015, 2019 as your focus of your project. Okay, depending on your decision of your data set. Using this data, consumption of petroleum and what? It should be in gas per annum are analyzed. Okay, but this one is also hanging. Analyze consumption in terms of what? Consumption, okay, in 1,000 meter cube should be included in your data, in your background, so that everything is clear. So people will interpret according to your information given in your background. Okay, so that will be the background. So far, do you have anything to ask for the project background, class? Any question?
Tak ada,
Class?
doktor, tak ada.
Okay, tak ada. Okay, then I proceed. Now, when it comes to the objective, okay, first thing first, if you don't know, okay, I don't know what objective should I outline or should I write for my project. Now, go to your data. If you don't know what to do, go back to your data, okay? Go back to your data and look thoroughly at your data so that you can pinpoint 4 things that you can highlight from your data set. Okay? For example, how? Now, just now the student have said about what we call the non-automotive and automotive. Okay, so this particular data can be divided into, for this petroleum consumption, they divide into automotive and non-automotive. So you have one here, okay, automotive and non-automotive. You have also for the gas, okay, just now the objective, the first objective, I divided, I break into 2 to investigate the consumption of shell fuel. We are not sure, if you are not sure that the shell fuel is the data belongs to shell fuel, then shell fuel should be eliminated from your objective. To investigate the consumption, the fuel consumption among citizens of Brunei. This can be your first objective. And your second objective can be referring to the gas. So first and second objective is what we call the general objective, because you are not specified to specific, you only specific to petroleum and gas as your big what we call point of view. Then go to the third, that will be you divide them into non-automotive and automotive. So the third objective you will divide into auto, non-auto. So you can create that particular classification if you wish to investigate that way. So it depending on the search that you did earlier on when you have the data. So you know that from this particular types of petroleum, you can divide into those who are used for auto and those used for non-auto. So you can investigate in terms of that particular perspective. And the last one would be something else. You can look at the trend. Okay, when the trend means that you are going to look at the fluctuation of the data. So you have to pick. So this will be what that you need to investigate, because you have yearly data. Okay, you have yearly data, and if you wish to look at the automotive and non-automotive and how the trend for, let's say you begin from 2010 until 2019, so that will be 10 years. In 10 years, how would be the differentiation, the difference between the use of automotive and non-automotive? Or if you wish to specify based on the from this, you can clearly see petroleum RON 97 mostly being used here. So you want to use the one that is mostly being used only. So you have here, and then the other one would be jet A. Okay. For example, you have wind. So let's say you want to compare those who are what we call mostly used by Brunei citizen, and you feel that there are some story that is a story that you need to reflect to these three what we call petroleum consumption, then you can specific to these three types of petroleum in your next objective. So that will be your next objective. But remember, every objective must come with explanation, because once you have analyzed, you will have to interpret your analysis. Then the interpretation will go back to the things that you wish to dig from your data. Sometimes simple data can have more objectives. Sometimes more data can be limited to more objectives. So it depends on the creativity that you have in order to transform your data. But my suggestion is that, okay, I'm really sorry because this table, why don't I stop inking for a while? I just need to copy the table. Let's say I take okay.
Madam,
Yes. Yes.
regarding the explanation,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to correlate the changes in data with anything I search for legislation. Can you open my the schedule? It's
Okay.
non-governmental.
Why? Okay. 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 Now, why don't I finish this first? Okay. Now,
Okay.
to help you out with the objective, okay. To help you out with the objective, this is what I would suggest to you. What you can do first. You have your data set, and then from your data set, you need to come up with 4 objectives. If you cannot think of the objective, think of uh, reorganize your data. Okay, reorganize means that from here, you reorganize your data based on the specificity that you need for your table. For example, I need only for the first objective is for the petroleum. Okay, so means that I will have petroleum here. Okay, from premium until bitumen. Okay, so if you wish to specific to, let's say 2010 until 2020. Okay, then have this table for your first objective. Then work out for your second table. You are looking for gas, so then you will have your data for gas. Okay, and you are looking for 2010 until 2019. So your variable now is gas. Okay, third objective, automotive. The bigger table is auto, non-auto. Okay, and then the inside you can put, it's either you can create auto, non-auto for 2010, 2010 until 2019. The same year, 2010 until 2019. But here is based on your preference, the third table, and create your fourth table. I think from here, you can start up your objective, the formulation of your objective. It will be much easier rather than looking at your data and then you did not try to reorganize your data in this way. So I think this will be helpful to you in order to come up with objective. And then from this particular what we call different table, you have to come up with the what will be your graphical or numerical that will be used for this particular data. Which one is which? Which one is which? To make sure that there will be no repetition. I don't want this bar chart, this also bar chart, this also bar chart. No, there must be differences in terms of first, second, third, and fourth objective in terms of method and analysis. Okay, go back to the question just now. What was your data just now? What was your data
Can I
just
share,
now?
madam? It's easier if I
Yes.
share.
You want to share in the WebEx?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I already shared. Can you see, madam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I can see.
This is my table. I try to
Okay.
relate anything to like to provide explanation, but I searched, I couldn't find anything. For example, there is
And then?
a decrease for the taxi, for motorcycles. There is decrease from 2007, and then it starts to decrease little by little. I search for 2007. I find
Okay.
no
Taxi,
nothing, no
2007
reason.
start decrease. But 2007,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I can't find
Okay,
any
that's
law
why.
or any reason for the decrease.
Okay.
And I don't know which country this
Yeah,
is.
because what? When you deal with secondary, okay. Yeah. If you are talking about taxi just now, right? Can you highlight taxi here from your data set?
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
2007.
Okay,
Yeah,
now.
it keeps increasing until 2007, and suddenly it decrease.
Yeah.
But I can't find any reason.
Yeah. Okay.
I search it.
Okay. Okay. Have you identified which data, which country is this? Brunei or Singapore? I'm sure.
I can't.
Sure this is not Malaysia.
Yeah, because it's very weird. Very low
Land
numbers.
transport. No. Okay. Okay, this is number of newly registered government. Okay, can you stop sharing now? I would like to share.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Your data set is just now is what was that just now?
Non-governmental.
Government, non-governmental. No. The title of your data. Government.
Number of newly registered.
Number of newly registered government. Government or non-government?
Non-government.
Non-government. Okay, now, you know what? Okay. Land Transport Department, Ministry of Communication. I would start by Google search, copy the word, okay? Start with Malaysia. Just to keep
Sorry?
just to get an idea. Okay, copy the keyword, okay, copy, and then search for the keyword. Because different countries sometimes they have different ministries name. Okay, so if you are lucky enough, sometimes I just search this way. I just enter. Okay, so if this is the case, see, you directly get the link to the link of the one that you are looking for by clicking the source, and then you got this particular what we call information, and then you go. It turns out that it is from Brunei. Okay, it is from Brunei. So means that your source is Department of Statistics Brunei. Then you can start looking, Control C, Control V, Department of Statistics Brunei. You may get Brunei. Okay. So okay, in this case, no, sorry. What I meant is this case just now. Okay. You will have to go only for Department of Statistics Brunei. Department of Statistics. Okay. Okay. Let's click the first one. Okay. If you are lucky, you can find the data from here. Means that you can confirm that your data is actually regarding Brunei data. So you can include your description of this particular data to what we call Brunei scenario. Okay. So if this is the case, for example, you have motorcycle and scooters, and you said that beginning after 2007, the number of motorcycle and scooters suddenly dropped, and you wish to know why. Okay, there could be any related to the government enforcement of the use of motorcycle could be, okay, that would be your first assumption. Or it could be the government
Economics.
has commencing new rule. Economic couldn't be the case because as economic grows, it should be no problem to own motorcycle. Okay, so try to relate. But if the reasoning part is very hard for you to relate to, then forget about giving reasoning because giving reasoning sometimes could be misleading. So just do the analysis based on the data that you have. Okay, as I would suggest, first objective, look for the bigger perspective. Second objective, narrow to certain part of the vehicles that you wish to investigate. You can divide into private and you have private taxi, good vehicle, buses, motorcycle, other vehicle. You can go to the Department of Statistics Brunei, see if there is or there are some description of this particular what we call information for this data, or go to the this particular Land Transport Department Ministry of what we call from Brunei. So go to the website of this Land Transport Department. Just investigate what are the things can be related to your data. Maybe in terms of the enforcement, law enforcement, and everything. So this is how, in actual case, in actual scenario, where you have to do the statistical analysis. We are not just get the number, calculate, get the value. That's it. Statistic is not about calculation only. Statistic is about you have the data, you calculate, you get the data, and you interpret. And of course, when you need to interpret the data, the analysis that you get, you have to relate to the problem of your data set. Okay, if you think you can think of something from your data set, that will be very helpful for your project one. Okay, is that
One
okay?
more thing, madam.
Okay.
I don't have
Yeah.
qualitative data. Is that okay?
What was that just now? You don't have
I don't have qualitative data in the table.
qualitative.
Can
Qualitative.
It's only quantitative and it's only discrete.
This. Are you sure? This is your data. You have private car, you have taxi. This is categorical or not categorical? This is categorical, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is your first variable. Yes, this is your first variable reflecting private car, taxi, good vehicle, buses. So this is your first categorical data. What is your next data? What is
The
your next
numbers by-
data?
The numbers by year.
Ah,
or
yes,
total.
yes. Years is your second data, second variable. So your first variable is non-government vehicle. Your second variable is years. And years is in terms of value, the number of all these particular private car, taxi, group vehicle and everything. Okay, now what else should I describe? The trickiest part is the data description. As I mentioned just now, you have to come up with your what we call what is your variable. So all these should be organized in terms of the rubric. So we have given you the rubric. So look at the data description. What are the information that need to be included in your data description? It should have the target population, your sample size, and your types of variable, as well as your what we call the source of your data. Okay, so in this case, okay, you have a categorical variable, all these, okay, you have categorical variable, and then you have variable for years. Most of group data will be limited in terms of what we call variable. Unlike data, for example, data such as let's say this one. Okay. For example, as this one, you have more variable. Okay, you still have the years as your variable. You have the variables total debt. Okay, by ethnic, so you have the ethnicity. You have by male, female, so you have male here, you have female here. Okay, so you have different categorical variable. Ethnicity, ethnicity, and then what else? Ethnicity, because the total of that is organized by ethnicity and based on gender. So you have two categorical variable here. Unlike, for example, you just now, you have one categorical variable only. But somehow, if you're very creative, even though you have only one categorical, you can still come up with 4 objectives that can be included in your project. Okay, so for example, in this particular case, what is your target population? If you are referring to the Brunei oil consumption and gas consumption, what is your target population? Who are using this particular oil? This data is collected from the oil company or the user? Yeah. For oil data set just now. This data, oil data. Is this data obtained from the oil and gas company or the user, that is citizen of Brunei? Last.
Oil company.
Why oil company? Oil company are those who provide the oil and gas. Now the data is about domestic consumption. Domestic consumption means usage of oil and gas in Brunei, right? Right, class?
Yes, madam.
See, okay. So means that your target population will be what? User lah, right? User of anybody who use it could be anybody who use oil and gas for their usage, maybe for traveling, for manufacturing, for business. Okay, because no in detailed information are given, but we can assume domestic consumption means what. So these are the things that you need to know before you even start your project, so that your objective will give some meanings of that particular data set context. Okay, don't just simply, for example, don't just simply this one, not this one. Okay, I'm not saying that this is not a good objective, but you can review to determine the grand total of teachers in government sector from the year 2008-2019 to analyze the most number male teacher by level of education. Okay, better is actually better than the first one, because the first one does not giving you any meaningful information from the analysis. But for the second objective, yes, we can have what we call meaningful information that can be discussed from this particular objective. The same goes here. Okay, this one is talking about gender, but for male only. Why male? Should it be male and female? So look back. So for this one, not greatest number of teacher. This one will be pie chart for what? Pie chart for teachers with different background, education background, right? So please make sure the title also correct. And then by gender, male and female. So the representation, with the fourth objective, the second and first objective need to be revised in terms of methodology. Okay, so I don't know what else to say. So make sure that I think the next step is for the project description, data description that you need to come up with. That one is I think critical because why? Your project background will be directing your objective, but your data description will guide you to your analysis according to the variable that you have in your data. Okay, that's why your data description must be correctly outlined from your data. And please Google search if necessary. As I mentioned, if no sources is given inside the data, just Google search based on the topic. Okay, somehow you may fall into the correct website that you are looking for. Okay, any other question for project? For this project, the number of live birth by age group of mother from 2012-19, I think this one should be revised. Okay, should be revised. If necessary, don't need to put the year, don't need to put by age because this is too detailed. Okay, topic should be short and concise. Objective, okay, this is not summary objective, so you have to formulate your objective according to the keyword of objective. Okay, make sure your target population, if I'm not mistaken, this data is not belongs to Perlis. Okay, your data for this particular, the number of live birth, number of live birth, number of live birth. Number of live birth by age. Okay, this is the data. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, you have the source, immigration and national registration department. What I did was I copy the source, the whole source here. I Google search, and it turned out it is from Brunei. Okay, so your data is referring to Brunei data. So make sure you don't mistakenly put what we call wrong scenario for the data. Okay, so I think that's all for the project planning. Okay, now your next task will be rewrite again your project planning, and this time add the data description that you have in your data set. Okay, so if you can think of the whole component of the project, means that you have your project title, you have your background, you have your objective, you have your what we call data description, and then you have the method and analysis, and finally your conclusion. That also will be very helpful because you will have about 18 days before you can submit your what we call your project one. It is actually a simple project, but because you are dealing with secondary data, the digging information is what is required more for this kind of project. So please look at your data, find the source, because we have 3 Department of Statistics and Statistic Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei. It's either of the 3. So if you can get the source, then you can write the background of your project and everything. Before we end up, any question, class? Before we end up,
I want to
yes.
ask if my title is Thai background, the size from Brunei. Is it can I change to Malaysia, or I must follow the data that been given?
It must follow the data given to you. That's why I said follow the data. If the data belongs to Singapore, then you are talking about Singapore punya scenario. If you are talking about Brunei, you are talking about Brunei scenario. Do not use data from Malaysia and you describe about Singapore. It is totally misleading and it is totally wrong. Okay. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Okay, any more question? Okay. Any more question? Any more question, class? If no, I'll just end the class. I don't have
Madam,
any energy.
I
Yes.
have one question. For the box plot,
Okay.
if the skewers are skewed to the right and the box is skewed to the left, which one should I pick?
That is a tutorial or what?
Yeah, in general.
Is that tutorial?
Yeah, tutorial.
You mean
Okay.
last question? Okay.
In
What was the
general,
question just now? Sorry.
using the plot, where is it skewed? If the skewers are
Oh, okay. As I
on
mentioned, okay. As I
my-
mentioned, as I mentioned in the previous class, as well as the videos that you have watched, okay, you can use your what we call, you can use the whiskers. Is the left whiskers is longer than the right whiskers? Left whiskers. This is the box plot, eh? Okay, this is the right whiskers. If obviously the right whiskers is longer than the left, then it is right skewed. Okay. Sometimes you may have situation where you have the same length of whiskers, left and right almost the same. But in this case, you have your middle 50% of data, means that from your Q1 until your Q3, you can decide whether it is left skewed or right skewed by detecting where is your Q1. If your Q1 is here, okay, means that it is skewed to the right skewed again. If it is skewed This is Q2. So this is Q1, Q2, Q3. Whiskers almost the same length. So in this case, it is longer to the left. So left skip. I think the
Yes,
video also
madam.
discussed about this.
My
You can
my
use either
my
one or
question
you can
is
use both.
my question is if they are opposite, like for the last one Q1 to Q2 is bigger than Q2 to Q3, okay? But no, same.
Oh, means that you have
No, I mean
okay now
good. Can you go down, madam?
yes.
Same one. Okay. So
Which one?
the
First,
the
second,
bottom
third.
one, the third one. Okay. If the skewers,
Okay.
if
Yes.
the right skewer is bigger than the left skewer, and the middle 50,
Oh,
the middle
whisker.
50%. Yeah, if the middle 50 is skewed to the left and the
So
skewer
you mean
is
that the right skew whiskers is longer?
yeah, and
longer.
also the
And then
yeah,
the
and
left
the
the
middle
left
50,
skewer is narrower.
yeah,
Middle
and
50.
the middle
Mhm.
50 is skewed
This
to the
one.
left. Yeah, which one should I pick?
Is it this
Middle
one?
50? Yes. Should I pick middle 50 or skewer to decide?
This is really no rarely or hard to find this, hard to get this box plot. Because what? Because this could be outlier. Okay, this could be outlier.
Okay.
If we know that this is outlier, we disregard this, and you will have your maximum value not as this one. So it will be shorter. So there will be pro and cons. So it is not a pop-up a quiz where I can just okay, this is smaller, this is larger, but this is larger. So it go back to the outlier case. It could be an outlier and it disturb your data, and this outlier usually we will eliminate. Okay, we will eliminate from our data for analysis. Okay, it depends.
Okay.
Sometimes we eliminate, sometimes we use the average value. It depends. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay, I
you.
hope I answer your question. Okay, thank you. Any more question, please, before we stop? Next week, I'm going to start with chapter 2. And for next week, I think I'm not sure how I will conduct the class because previously I have face-to-face, but if my coordinator use available video for the async class, okay, I will do the class using the video for async. But during the lecture, I will do the lecturing because chapter 2, a lot of what we call theory involved. So I will be more using the sync class for lecturing. Okay. Any more questions before we stop?
Hello, Doktor. Sebelum ni saya
Ya.
ada example mengenai Brunei tapi saya buat Malaysia. Jadi saya perlu hantar lain ke?
Yes, tak apa, it's okay. The planning that you submit to me
Ya.
is just for me to look through what you have planned for your project 1. Okay. So based on my comment today, correct your project planning. So
Okay.
that towards the end of your project 1, everything is in order and everything is correct based on what we have discussed. Okay. So please make sure the one that you handed over to me, correct them and add all the details that you need to have in your project 1. Remember class, it contributes 20% of your mark. It is a lot. Okay.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay. Any more question? Okay, thank you. Any more question before we stop?
Doktor,
Yes.
kalau saya punya Brunei tapi saya nak buat Malaysia, tukar boleh ke? Ke memang kena ikut Brunei juga?
Yes. If you want to switch the data, let me know. Because there are still many available data. So if you feel that you choose this, it turned out, oh my God, I cannot think. My brain cannot think. What are the analysis that I can do? But I don't recommend you to switch your data. But worst come to worst, I do allow you to switch because hold on, because let me share the confirm master list. Okay, so this is the confirm master list. Those who have chosen your data set and your theme. Okay, so if you can see, there are many more data that is available, okay, that has not been chosen by any other group. Remember, we have 157 data set, and RK86 and RK24, if I add these two, the total group would be like 70 plus groups only. So you will be having a remaining of 80 data set that will be available. But if the case that you need to change, let me know because I need to update this particular master list because this is the remaining master list that is available for being chosen. So for the name here, please have your team. I'm not sure. I haven't checked those who are not in the team yet. But for those who left alone, I may allow you to do it on your own. Means that you do single project. Mean you yourself do the project. Okay, so if you have the necessary to change the data, let me know because I need to update. Okay, but I hope it would be minimum case because I really have a headache, handling this kind of project because the number of students are too many. Okay, any more suspicious or any question before?
Ada, nak tanya.
Yeah.
Saya punya tajuk fiber breakout. Dia punya table data dia ada yang tak lengkap 2009 sampai 2011. Jadi macam mana? Kena ikut sebiji data table ke kena tambah sendiri?
Yes. Means that you put there is not zero. Do not put unavailable data with zero. Because if you put zero, means that the data is zero. Means that zero is the data. But if you have no data, put there nil, NIL, or NA, not available. So means that it is not unknown. Unknown is different. It's nil. Nil means that no data. Okay.
Available. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. Any more question?
No, Doctor.
Yes.
No question.
No. I thought you have question. I'm tired already. Okay. Any more question from the floor before we stop? Along the way, if you have anything to confirm or to discuss about your project, you can WhatsApp me, you can Telegram me, or you can we can have an online meeting, short online meeting to discuss on your project, so that it will be much easier. I don't want last minute too many group with too many problems. Okay. So if no questions, I think I will just end the class. Okay, thank you very much for your time and we'll